Francois and Chantal have come from France on their honeymoon, and the Gibsons have come from Glasgow. Frank and Tom have come for a golfing holiday. The town offers ample accommodation. There are many boarding houses and bed and breakfast establishments, 12 comfortable hotels, and 2 fully serviced caravan sites. Our holidaymakers have found the usual warm welcome and are soon settled in. One place you can't expect to have all to yourself is the swimming pool. Built into the finest natural setting in Scotland, among the rocks under the castle ruins, it proves a magnet for thousands.
I was pondmaster. Must have been 72 to 78. I had a very grand title, pondmaster, which basically was looking after the others who looked after the pool. I thought my job was to walk around in white looking impressive, but that wasn't necessarily what I was being paid for. When the sun came out for a couple of days, it would get very, very busy. There were diehards who came every day, day in, day out, whether it rained or shone or such. When I was here was the big, very near tail end of the decline of seaside holidays as such, taken in Scotland. So less people came than used to. But I can remember from my childhood when people came and literally stayed at the pool 7 days a week. You got a weekly ticket and a fortnightly ticket and a monthly ticket and a season ticket. People came and just actually lived down here, back to their caravans when it closed, or their boarding houses. There was a day in June when it snowed, in 1973, I think it was. We were just finished clearing the terraces, sat down in our deck chairs for our pre-10 o'clock cup of coffee, and the skies opened and it snowed. And it snowed for 1 hour, it stopped, and it was melted in 20 minutes after that. And that was one of the record hot summers in the 70s. Well, the boatman, it has to be said, tended to be one of the glamour figures. Yes, he'd start off at the beginning of the season as a puny youth, and after lifting 20 heavy boats full of water several times a day, by the end of the summer, he would be quite impressively muscled. Derek White, the international rugby player, that's where he did his bodybuilding. Sort of Baywatch couldn't hold much to us in those days.
When you got to the top of the banking there and you got your first glimpse, the pool, the paddling pool, you couldn't wait to run down that slope and run. I mean, I've fallen and skinned my knees many a time doing that because you can't get down quick enough. And see, are there any boats available? You know, any paddle boats? Wonderful. I think that was the first thing I made for, was the paddle boats. That was the one I made the beeline for. That was the only one I was interested in, was the paddle boats. Because we got up some speed. I mean, we'd race up and down, you know. And supposing you went in, you didn't know a soul that was there to begin with. I mean, and we're talking quite a lot of people there. By the time you'd been in there about half an hour, you knew them all. Because, I mean, you couldn't help but fly into one another. Bump. Oh, sorry. Whether you meant it or not. After having got that content, then I could take the shoes and socks off and have a paddle and sail the yacht. In those days, I didn't pack a bathing suit or anything like that, because I can't even remember of having a bathing suit when I was wee. All you did was you tucked your skirt inside your pants and paddled. People didn't dress as they do now for the beach or to paddle or whatever. The boys had their shorts on, and I think there's one little boy there, and I think he's from Daniel Stewart's, and I was having a chat up with him. He's got his blazer and his cap on, you know, so it was totally different, great fun. And it was sunny, it was always sunny then, when it's always sunny in your childhood.
occasion of one of the highlights of the season, the Miss Dunbar Bathing Beauty Competition.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is about 45 years ago, you know. And this is one of these pictures that comes back to haunt me because I'm in the line up here. Now, this would be about 1952, I think. And this was one of the earlier bathing beauty competitions where there was only one entrant and we were persuaded to go up and take part. And as you can see, none of us are dressed to appear in a beauty competition apart from this young lady who actually came in third. And there's my friend Fiona who was second, and this is Margaret Lane, and this is me here in the floral dress. Now, I was persuaded to remove my cardigan that day. It's a big thing, you know, take your cardigan off, which I did. And this young lady was a lady from Glasgow who actually won the competition. And this was a Miss Grant and an Elsie Reid, who she was then, and the Dorothy Kidd. But we were all local girls, with the exception of this one lady here. But it was very, very natural. I think this was a forerunner, you know, of this. And it's lovely to see it again. Brings back lots of memories. But obviously it progressed into something very important. It became more sophisticated and obviously more competitive as well. And they were very well produced and promoted and attracted quite a lot of attention. And very good for the town again. You know? What I remember about a knockout is that it was great fun. And we met Burnt Island, and unfortunately they won. But it was a great day, great fun. And again, it was very nice to have Dunbar, you know, on television and this sort of thing. In these days in Dunbar, we were very, very happy to have as much promotion as possible because that was one of our main industries, was the tourist trade.
Oh, I longed to go on that. Jump off the raft. It just looked so exciting and enticing. Fortunately, I was told to grow up a bit. I never ever did get my swim in Dunbar pool.
The one time I had the courage to come and see the demolition in progress, I basically couldn't bear to watch and had to go away. It was really quite heartbreaking to see something, you know, they'd been here for, looked so permanent and been here for so long, just being torn away. I think to anyone who spent as much time in their youth down here as I did, and most of my generation did, generations before, we can still see in our mind's eye every wall, every crack, almost every stain on the concrete that was here. It's very strange to see it returned to nature.
The pool had a special magic about it. It was lovely just to come round that corner and see all the people and the laughter. I think it's the laughter I remember, and the lightheartedness more than anything, and the brightness. It was just, and everybody was so happy and enjoying themselves. Oh, really, really cold. But I suppose you're young, and for the first, the first 2 or 3 seconds, you thought, oh dear. But once you were in, you got used to it. You know, really. I suppose we're a hardy lot in these days.